Welcome back, family. Mangituru Mzadi.
Mangituru Adam.
Mangita will.
So today, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us. I believe we just hit 50 subscribers
Yes,
on
yes.
on the channel. So
All
yeah,
right.
thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for liking it.
Yes, and I want to give a shout out as well to the GCO business group. Everybody in there been doing amazing things. Thank you for everybody that's joined, contributed, joined the
Absolutely.
polls, joined the conversation. It's essential in directing the narrative and keeping all the programs and things that we have going in there. So thank you guys in the GCO Network Business Group. And if you don't know about that, the WhatsApp link will be below.
Right. And so we always want to come to you guys and talk about I guess hot topics and just keep inspiring people to move to Africa, to think about Africa, and to help grow Africa.
Absolutely.
And so today, we can never, ever, ever
Oh no.
start our show, our episode, our lives off without a quote of the day.
Hey, yes.
So, Will, what is the quote of the day?
All right. Let's get into it. Right. So the quote of the day today is strength is nothing without courage.
Woo!
Strength is nothing without courage.
Definitely.
I just want to leave that on your plate this evening. I just want to leave
Yeah,
that on your
sizzle in
plate.
your spirit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can definitely agree with
Let that sizzle in your spirit.
Oh,
that.
that was good.
Definitely.
Right.
And that
Right.
translates well to, the things that we have going on in our life right now. Whereas
Right.
we wanted to take a step outside of what we knew and venture into business in Africa, venture into living in Africa, and we have already had the skills, the knowledge, the know-withal to do it. But if we would have never had the courage to step outside of the square box that we're put in, we would have never been able to see that dream or make anything like we have created already a reality. So that's definitely something that you should take away, family. You have to have not only the strength and the knowledge, but you have to have that faith and that courage.
And that's all I was just about to say. That's synonymous with knowledge is nothing without the wisdom. You can be smart, but without wisdom behind it, you'll fall flat. So that was a great quote of the day today.
Right.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
So now we have our news of the day.
Okay. So um in the news of today, we're talking about, and this is from, again, what we say here at GCO Network. Listen, you don't have to listen to us. Everything that we say, we can reference. We got receipts. Okay. And this is from the Fatu network in the Gambia, where the headline right now is more than 200 Gambian migrants to return home from Tunisia and Libya. So the Minister of Foreign Affairs is Dr. Momadou Tangara. Dr. Momadou Tangara. He's the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And they have put together a team to go out and help facilitate the return of these Gambians back home from Tunisia and Libya areas. And I think that's an awesome thing, when your government can actually send a team out, send somebody out that speaks your language, looks like you, talks like you, understands your culture, and say, hey, you want to come home? Come home. I'll help you.
That's strong.
And that's
Right.
basically what's happening. And whatever's going on in the world right now, listen, we can't control that. We don't have priority over that. But I just wanted to pull the positive something positive that's going on right now that's being done by a government organization simply to help his people get home.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
thought that was a feel good moment that I
That's
wanted
great.
to share with the family. Um, and again, this is the news that we have gotten from Fatu Network. They're in the Gambia online. So yeah, this is a pretty good article. Pretty informative. It is short and it's brief, and it should be, but it's just a good feel good moment about the Gambian government reaching
And
out, taking care of these migrants in order to get them back home to the Smiling Coast.
and we need
So I
more of
just
that. We need more
absolutely
facilitation from the motherland. Spreading and helping get the natives and people, the repats and the diaspora back to the motherland. That's important.
Right.
awesome.
And
Yeah,
and that also speaks to the concept of pan Africanism and like really what that is about, because as African Americans or any of the diaspora that are not in Africa right now and were born and raised in another country for years and years on end, we don't have a place or a specific country that will come and get us. If we are in danger, if we are hurting, if we are crying out for help, there's no mother to run back to. It's just we left on our own in a while, and we have to try to come together in a place that's organized to tear you apart. So to have a centralized um place in Africa for all Africans to be able to have like a specific reinforcement that will go out and assist you in your time of need, that is very, very big. So that's a great thing that Gambia has, like you said, and I hope and pray and wish and would like to be in the movement where it can become broader than just
right.
that. But yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, and so that was a great topic, family. Like Will said, we'll put that link um in the bio.
Description.
I know we have not been doing great or good at actually putting those links, but I promise you this one will have the link. And so now we have the word of Wolof.
All right.
And I want to say Jerry Jeff, Jerry Jeff to Gambia and all their efforts that they are doing right now to get those people back home. And that's our word of the day. Jerry Jeff is
Teddy
thank you.
Jeff. Teddy
Jerry
Jeff.
Jeff. Jerry Jeff.
Teddy Jeff.
Okay, Jerry Jeff. And that kind of brings us to our topic for today, family. We're going to talk about is it better to do business abroad or in the Gambia?
Ooh wee.
Mm.
So, you know, we
Uh
and we
oh.
have a few topics for you guys, so, follow along with us. I want to ask Will first about his viewpoint on this one, but we feel like a great, great, great reason that you should do business in the Gambia versus abroad is the proximity that Africa has. So the proximity to African and European markets allow easy access to regional trade.
Right.
And again, family, this is speaking to the
Right.
incentive
So,
of doing
um,
business in the Gambia.
right. So the for me the yeah, the ability to be able to start a business um, and have relative almost instant impact. Um, and I wanted something, that was affordable, something that I could sustain, something that was feasible, and something that also served the community in more ways than one. Um, which is why I went with ice, because I mean, you talking about a place where it averages 85, 75, 85 degrees year round. So
Right.
um, but not to mention the multiple uses of ice. But being in Gambia, it just affords you multiple opportunities. I mean, from grassroots level, like, hey, look. I just say you just bought a ticket and you flew over. You say I want to walk the ground myself. I want to check it out. You walk it over, you check it out. You say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll be able to start this kind of business here, or that kind of business here. Then this is just a matter of you figuring out what that's going to be, what you want that to look like, what's it going to take for you to execute that plan, and just do it, because Gambia is really a open canvas. Like you can really pick your niche out and do your own art, do your own thing, you know. Um, and so, and especially when you start talking about the affordability of it being able to be done, you start talking about all the opportunities that'll come to you, because of it's still in the beginning stages of its economy, and still trying to start to build up and get better, and as far as roads, and we saw the road building, we saw the bridge being built, we saw that, we saw the OIC highways
Exactly.
being completed. So there is progress. And I just feel like being in a place like Gambia allows you to be on the ground floor, allows you to understand what is happening from the ground level, so that you can fast forward 3 to 5 years from now. You're like, oh man, I remember when we had to do this. I remember how business was done this with da 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 da. And then as the economy grows, your opportunities grow, right? So
Right.
I just think it's better, especially if you want to get on the ground level and you want to start one or multiple businesses, without so much bureaucratic process and over taxation, like you may have in the West. Whereas in the West, if you have a brick and mortar and you just trying to rent and have a suite, so to speak, or just your piece of that building, it's expensive, especially with high insurances, high monthly rent and all that stuff. And then on top of that, there's the taxation, the severe taxation. There are taxes in Gambia. Don't get me wrong. There are taxes in Gambia, but they don't compare to what you would pay in the West. And that's just from personal experience. I'm not, some kind of expert on all this stuff, but I'm just speaking about, kind of how I feel about it to some degree. So, I think it's a great opportunity to do it in Gambia versus abroad.
Right, right. Yeah. And like just kind of spoke to the development in Gambia as far as the roads and things will allow that country to country trade, and you will have that market to enter into, because it's not many places that go from one country to the other, and so on and so forth, either which way. So that is a big, big open market, whether you're trying to sell agricultural products, or um, you're trying to sell clothing, or you're trying to sell any kind of bulk items to where you might need to go on the road for distance. Where we see here, I guess in the West, it would be the equivalent of seeing a lot of 18 wheelers going back and forth.
Right,
So that would
right,
be that's where that development is going to. And you also have to remember that we're always saying that any kind of venture in Africa is an investment. It's something
right,
that takes passion, and it's something that takes time. So
right.
we're always going to say it's better to do business in Gambia than anywhere else, because the development is there, the people are there, and it's time. But
Absolutely.
yeah, that was a great point. Adam, did you have anything you want to add to that, or?
I just got to say, the Gambia, as far as a pristine location, you almost can't get better, unless you're like in the Congo, but then that's more of a political drawback in some aspects. So,
Right, right,
the Africa, if you look at the continent and you look at the rest of the continents, it's in the center of all of them. It's close to Asia. America is right there. If you look at the transatlantic slave trade, literally they took from where Gambia, the area that Gambia is in the ocean, across to the islands and then up to the Americas and back around to Europe again. So it's really in a pristine area. You can hit right on America if you have shipping, and then you have Europe right above there. Africa is the central location, and there's a lot of things that are coming online to connect Africa. Like they're even working on a highway to connect Africa. So there's a lot of opportunities in Gambia as far as trade, as far as integration, and then it's a melting pot of culture too. When we took our trip there recently, it was so many different cultures, people from Lebanese and people from all other places of Africa were there as well. Ethiopia, Tanzania. We had somebody that we stayed with. She was from where, Sierra Leone. Was that where? Is that where she was from?
They would say it.
Yeah. What was she was from Sierra Leone?
Oh, the older lady.
Yeah.
That left. I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yes.
I really don't.
Yeah, it was Sierra Leone, I believe.
Yeah. It was.
So we've had people. You'll meet all types of people there. So it is growing and it's a melting pot.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, family. So just take that in. And another big point as to why you should do business in Gambia versus abroad are the opportunities to contribute to the economic growth and development of the Gambia. And this is something I feel like we always kind of talk about whenever we talk about doing business in Gambia or in Africa, just in general. We kind of always talk about this at certain points, or just go over this where any kind of investment that you're doing in Gambia is going to contribute well if you make sure that you set it up to do so. Exactly. Any kind of investment. Adam, do you have now, you kind of want to go over this one?
Now, okay, so when you think about like the opportunities to contribute to the economic growth and development of the Gambia, you gotta really look at what Gambians need. Because a lot of people, they might go over there and they think, well, let me start an ice cream shop. Gambians don't need ice cream. Right now they need, things like power, electricity. Will, he has the only ice company in the Gambia. That's something that's essential. We have another lady who has the only trash truck in the Gambia. Trash service, she comes around to pick up your trash. So there's other trash services, but she has the only trash pickup truck. So there's a lot of services and things that are needed in the Gambia. So when you think about opportunities to contribute to the economic growth, that's what you need to think about. But coming abroad and doing business there, that's one of the biggest reasons, because there's a lot of sectors that you can still get into. There's a lot of other countries, Western countries, like say you go to a Dubai, or you go to a New York, or you go to a Shanghai. A lot of those markets are saturated with a lot of different businesses already, because there's such metropolises and megaspheres already that you still need. They still don't have certain things, but they don't need a broad spectrum of things like Gambia. So Gambia is developing, and that's a big reason to go there. They have a lot of opportunities. Now, some people may see it and say, oh, that this is a problem, or the roads are a problem that need to be developed, or there's blackouts that needs to be fixed. But those are all opportunities to boost the economy of the Gambia. And those are opportunities that don't just boost it on a small year by year basis. Those are longevity jobs, which is something that the Gambia needs.
Right. Yeah. I completely agree with that. I think that, once again, anything that you might want to attempt to do in Gambia will roll off and have a trickle effect and help the growth and development of the Gambia, whether it's something big or it's something small. If you have the spirit to start it, start it. Will, do you have anything that you kind of want to add to this topic?
Sure. Just real quick. So, the World Bank, and many people have different views about the World Bank, but there is some proof in the pudding, or as we like to say here at GCO Network, there are some receipts that we can account for. So here recently, they just done an economic overview, right, of the economy of the Gambia. And just a quick tidbit. So this is from the World Bank. It's from their site. It's from their page. And again, just like you just told the family earlier, Zadi, this will be This will be accessible by them because we'll have the links. So yeah, we won't have to worry about it. But so the economic growth at the end of 2022 reached 4.3%. So that means that they improved their agricultural production due to a successful rainy season. They actually produced more this past year, into this past year, due to rainy season. They
Yeah, rainy
actually,
season is a blessing.
so you're talking about there was a increase in government consumption, high infrastructure spending driven by preparation for the for the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation, the OIC conference. Okay, so which explains why the highways, the access to better roads, the bridges, the shortcuts, how we get from the airport to now how we get from the airport.
Yeah.
So and some of those things were just just what it was. The GDP didn't jump out at anybody. It kind of pretty much stayed close to its normal range. But there were a couple of good points as far as the economy and growth is concerned, and those are just a couple of things that this article pulls out about the economy and the growth that's happening now in the Gambia.
Right. Right. So y'all, the development family, the development is there.
It's there.
Don't count Gambia out. Put us on the map because we are there and we are present. We ain't there yet, but we about to be. So,
It's gonna be a whole different ball game.
Take Gambia into consideration. With your business ventures, take it into consideration with tourism, and take it into consideration to live. So our next topic, as to why you should do business in Gambia versus abroad, is the supportive government policies and incentives for foreign investors. And as much as we call Africa home, we are still viewed as foreigners. And as long as we are viewed as foreigners, we should obviously take advantage of the policies that the government has in place for us when it comes to doing business in the Gambia. Now, some of those policies, do we know what some of those policies are?
Now, this family is very interesting because we actually have a book on Amazon, Starting a Business in the Gambia, which we will also have below, which will link exactly that, how to start a business in the Gambia. And in there, it has a lot of different, web links and things like that you can go to that have the policies and procedures and things of that nature that you can go through, and some of the actual funds. Now, as it says here, for foreign investors, so there aren't a lot of things for local investment at the moment, but there are some policies for foreign investment, and you can see that in several projects that are going in place right now in Gambia, and not just Gambia, in neighboring countries like Senegal as well. So that is something that if you're looking to do business abroad into the Gambia, to look into. Now, there are things that hit any investor, like when you're shipping, right, and you're getting stuff into the ports. It don't matter, what you're investing in. You still got to pay that tariff fee. So there's stuff that you have to think of always. But yes, there are opportunities in that area.
Yeah, and so Will, do you know any of the actual policies for foreign investors?
Okay, so there's a Adopted Investment and Export Promotion Agency Act, and that's been around since 2010 in the Gambia. So basically, what it says is that if you're a foreign investor and you're willing to export up to 30% or export 80% of whatever requirement or other basic requirements, and allow them to audit you, then they will kind of relax some of the local tariffs in order to do business, and that just makes sense. If you have somebody that's coming and going to impact your economy and your workforce and your labor force, and be that impactful to your economy, then do you cut them a deal? Yeah, why not? Because they're choosing to invest right there on your soil. They're choosing to build something right there on your soil. So, yeah, I mean, there are a few things that the Gambian government will allow you to do as far as incentives, including like tax holidays or corporate or turnover tax, depreciation allowance, withholding tax on dividends, all kind of stuff like that. So there are some breaks that are built in for foreign investors. So, and the government supports that. A lot of this stuff, man, people either don't know because they just don't know, or they don't know because they haven't researched it, what have you. And that's just what that is. And if you do, when I was looking to start a business there, some of the areas that they do give you breaks in, say for instance, if you had a partnership of something, you wanted to come and you wanted to get into the tourism industry, or you wanted to get into renewable energy, or you wanted to get into agriculture, there are built-in tariffs and tax breaks that they will allow for you in order for you to do business in the Gambia on that scale. You know what I'm saying? So folks talking about, ain't nobody trying to, the Gambian government not trying to help nobody. They ain't trying to. Well, I don't know about that. It depends on what field you're in, and do you do some research and see, hey, if I want to, like for instance, if you want to start a 4-star at least hotel in the Gambia, there are a lot of breaks for you. If you want to start a tourism company that will contribute directly to, the economy and to the community of Gambia, there are some breaks for you for that. There are some breaks built in. It's spelled out. It's spelled out in the Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency, which is what we call all the time GIPA, and it's spelled out in there, right? And if you just take a look at that, again, that's the Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency, GIEPA. Okay. And there are a lot of incentives that really are for foreign investors in order to get foreign investors into the Gambia and to do business there. And what a lot of folks may not understand is your economy does not grow solely from within internally. Your economy grows when there are external shareholders or foreign investors that come in and contribute to that. So that's a need. That's not a want. That's a need for an economy to grow. And okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but that's pretty much what that is, and that's why I'm kind of excited about that, because there's so much opportunity in it.
So, right, there's definitely big opportunity there.
Oh yeah, huge.
And so I think that I don't have anything to add more to that one, honestly. But our next one is lower cost and labor and operational expenses in comparison to some of the other countries. So as we know, the exchange rate, the dollar exchange rate right now in Gambia for most places is very high. No matter where you're coming from, you're probably going to still have a big exchange rate, some more than others. And so with starting a business and thinking about expenses, it's a low entry. And because of the low entry to start the business up, also to create that team that you need and to keep and maintain that team as far as salary goes, payments go, is also a low cost. So if you're able to have a steady stream of foreign currency until your business in Gambia becomes stable, sustainable, and making more money than whatever was coming in from the foreign dollars, you'll be able to make a return on investment pretty quickly.
Okay, I think that's 100% true, and there's a couple of other ways you can look at it too. Like if you come over and you already have skills in masonry or plumbing or something like that, that can cut the cost as well. As far as the labor costs, and also you got to also look at contractors too, because a lot of people, they come over and they might start a project and then they are not there. So it's good to be there, and some materials and some things like that go over the cost of what they expected, and it becomes more expensive. So you got to watch out for the lower cost of labor. It is a lower cost in labor overall, like Mzadi was saying, as far as cost of living and the value of your money you're getting out. But you have to watch out as far as, even when you're there, you have to watch out for the contractors you get. So really vet whoever you're going through, because you always want to do your due diligence, and you always want to make sure that you're getting somebody that is competent and is trustworthy too. Because if you want to give the contractor the ability to go get the materials and you're not there with them, you need to trust them 100%. But you in Gambia, it's not like here in America. If you want somebody to build your house or office for you, generally you give them the plans and they go and do it, and they don't expect you to be right there with them. But in the Gambia, you can do that. You can be right there with them when they pick up the materials. You can order it. Everything. So you can be hands on, and the more hands on you are, the lower the cost more than likely will be, and the less you'll have problems in the long run.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have a little
Absolutely.
bit more control. I'm sorry, Will. What were you about to say?
No, I was absolutely agreeing. I mean, something I did find out, just a quick nugget, going back and forth and then working and then going to these warehouses, and actually picking up parts and pieces. And this is something that Adam just touched on. You know, once you go to the warehouses and you see these people faces and you know who works them and you know who owns them and you know what's going on and they see you more than once
Oh yeah.
and they know you're a business owner, now the conversation relaxes more, right? Then sometimes the price relaxes more because they see you as a steady customer. You're doing business with them. They want to keep your business, so they know they got to work with you, right? And then it goes back to that negotiation and bartering and coming together and figuring out what's good for both parties. Um, so I mean that's just something. And just real quick, if some people want to do some math at home, like right now, I'm looking at the cost of living in Gambia right now, and this is from kayak.com. And and I gotta say, these prices are pretty close. Like for instance, lunchtime, 276 Dalasi for lunch, and that's it if you're in the business district,
$4.
i.e., Banjul somewhere or whatever, kind of metro, kind of semi-metro area, what have you. Um, you know, um a liter or a quart of milk, 169 Dalasi, you know, and then eggs, a dozen of eggs, 203 Dalasi. And people can do their own conversion and stuff at home, but we're only talking about a few bucks, a few dollars.
$3.
But then when you get to the housing, like for instance, now housing for 85 meters square is 25,000 Dalasi. Um, and 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 furnished one, just a little bit more. Utilities per month, 25,000. Now you start adding 25,000 here, 1,800 there, 25. You really start stacking it up, and your average Gambian may not have that amount of money readily available. So, um, you know, it's just kind of puts a little bit of perspective on what it is. Like for instance, a pair of jeans or Levi's 501s in the Gambia, if you can find them, first of all, 1,800 Dalasi, 1,800 Dalasi. A pair of sports shoes, Nikes, 1,800 Dalasi. You see what I'm saying? So, uh, and then transportation, buying a vehicle. I know this to be absolutely true. It's always going to be between 350,000 to 450,000, 500,000 Dalasi for a vehicle. That's a fact. I don't care. I don't care what nobody told you. That's pretty much what it's going to run. And the gas now per quarter gallon is like 75, 85 Dalasi.
How much is that in US dollars?
85 for
So
at the $1.20, $1.30, something like that. A dollar
so
30, $1.40.
right. and so this is old to a degree, and so you talk to somebody on the ground now, and it's actually more than that because um, it's just more expensive to get fuel to the Gambia, and that goes back to the infrastructure. That goes back to the infrastructure. Then that goes back also to what agreements are in place and what you can and can't have and the affordability of that.
Right.
So, all that. They're just like, could an American come over there and start a trucking company? The short answer is yes. The long answer is they couldn't drive. That's actually a law in Gambia. They
Right.
personally could not drive, and that's just due to the fact that um, they don't want you to corner the market or take over jobs that are available for Gambians.
Right. And you
That
shouldn't, want to do that. It's at
right,
any point in time, and we are not encouraging anybody to come and try to take a job from
right,
any Gambian. We are encouraging people to come and invest. We are encouraging people to come and create jobs.
right, right. And that's a great point, which is one of the things I wanted to be able to do, and what I have been able to do is just create a couple jobs here and there, and support and do the best I can. But when you start talking about lower cost of labor, yeah, the labor cost is low, the operational expenses. It depends on what type of business you're doing, but by comparison to anything to the west or to the east or to Europe, it's relatively cheap. It's relatively
Right.
cheap when you do that comparison. Now you say, is it going? Or what prices are you going to pay for your operational expenses? Like for me with ice and stuff, it all depends. I don't sell the same amount of ice every single day, right? And so does that affect my bottom line? Yes, it does. Usually the weather effects has an effect on my bottom line. How hot it is, what the need is, um, and then also now you look at, okay, everything's higher, it costs more. So right now it's not as fast as it was 6 months ago. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
It's just not selling as fast. So, but these are things. This is business. Business fluctuates. Regardless of whatever format or vein you're in as far as business. So, but yeah, overall, lower cost of labor and operation expenses, they really don't compare to Gambia. I mean, Gambia is in its own lane for real. When you
Right.
start talking about comparing it to the West and everybody else abroad.
Yeah. 100% agree. So, family, take that away. That in Gambia, the entry point is low, and
True.
also a big reason why you should do business in the Gambia versus abroad is the potential for positive social impact and sustainable business practices. Adam, do you kind of want to dive into what that one is?
Yeah. So, basically, if you want to come and do business abroad, from abroad and do business in Gambia, the social impact that you have is like no other. A lot of times you start a business in a community, and especially here in America, it's not really, you don't see the change that business has brought to the community. But when it comes to Gambia, depending on the business, you know, and it could be a nail shop. Let's not say depending on the business, because this is about what you're about, what your business is about. So, you can have an impact on your local community. Will, for instance, has Batu Ice, and he's done a lot. And I'll let him speak on that when he speaks about this part. But there's a lot that you can do for the area, as far as schools, as far as the roads, as far as the electricity. There's so much as far as the elders, because like in our previous episode, we talked about when you get into a community, you need to make sure that you touch base with the elders of the community. You need to make sure you touch base with certain people in the community. And that's bar none. When you have a business in the community, they're going to want to know who you are. So that's very important. And so definitely you're going to have an impact, regardless if you want to or not, in the community when you come and
Right.
you try to start a business, because they're going to find you. Now, besides that, the business practice is part of it. And this is Mzadi. She is into, like, I guess she's in a field where she develops people in the workforce into that workforce, integrating them, getting them acclimated and stuff like that. So when you
Wow.
talk about developing business practices, that's directly related to that field. Where in the Gambia, it might be certain things that you'll experience coming from abroad that you'd be like, oh, that could be tweaked, a little bit here or there. That could be
Right.
revamped here or there. Or they just need an
Right.
operations manager, and they'll never run out of chicken. And so there's a lot of different things, that you can do, and those little positions like that is where the business practices can be upgraded and can be altered. Now, you don't want to go in there and try to change their religious practices, change, what times they want to come in and change. You don't want to do all of that. That's not what we're here to do. What we're here to do is we're here to amalgamate and create something new. We're not here to change, to say this is what we do. We're not here to take what they do and say this is what they do. We're here to put it together and create something a completely new tree. So that's what I believe as far as the potential as far as that goes, and the practices growth.
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So real quick, right? So what I learned as a new business owner in my first, I want to say 90 days, right? So you're so involved with your business and your planning and your execution, and you're just, it must be this way, and I gotta do it like this, and it's da 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 da, and da da da. This is how it should be done, da da. And then you get to Gambia, okay? And then no, my brother, no, my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Whole different world.
Right, and so that slows down. So logistics slows down. And how they do things slows down. First thing I had to learn, okay, I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to hire people. I'm ready to get going. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to have the grand opening, blah, blah, blah. So then you figure out that essentially, as a business owner, especially somebody from the diaspora, that's, repatriate, however you want to synonymize it, right? Yeah. So, but, you realize that in the Gambia, and it's just being what it is, you really only have a 4-day work week, right? And that's just what it is. There's no knock. That's just what it is. And respectfully, Friday is a day of prayer across the board in the Gambia. And you will not, and you should not ever, as a business owner, disrespect the local culture and what they do in regards to how they handle their business culturally and religiously. It's not your place. It's not your business. And if you just happen to be Muslim or practicing Muslim, then okay, that's what it is. You jump right on in. They are very welcoming people, by the way. So, but I found because I was like, my first Friday on the ground at the shop, I was like, so it started. I think they started walking and gathering at the mosque about, I want to say 11 o'clock, 11:30. Right. And I was like, I know you lying. Where y'all going? Right. And so one of my managers pulled me to the side. He said, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. I said, what's going on, Musa? What's going on? And he was like, Friday prayers. And I said, huh? I said, so let me get this straight. Everybody praying?
Everybody.
And listen, and I don't want anybody to really take my laughter for disrespect or anything. I absolutely support and respect the Muslim culture and the culture inside of Gambia of all the tribes, whatever it is they do, that's their business, right? And I'm just saying, you really got to understand what's going on in the Gambia. You have to be on the ground because there's some things that just don't apply to your cultural understanding in America. They just don't apply to you, right? And so, but the potential for social impact, like for instance, there's a school next door to me, and Adam, you spoke about this earlier. There's a school right next door to me, and here's my thought process. It's not even about trying to save anybody. That's not what it is, but it's about being a positive contribution and a positive impact in the community that your business is going to or is operating in. And I felt like one of the ways that I could do that is right in my own backyard, right across the street from me, right? There's a school, there's a boarding school there. So, you know, now this is where you're on the ground, you're out walking, get out your car, go walk and talk to people, meet them, shake their hands, look them in the face. And if you don't, if you haven't gotten that good at Wolof yet, don't worry about it. Adam gonna speed up. He gonna get you right. You know what I'm saying? But take somebody with you and express what it is you would like to do with respectfully with their permission. This goes back to, if you go back to Batuke Ice and you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see where it's not just me standing out there with some lights. Look at that video. I'm standing there with elders. I'm standing there with teachers. I'm standing there with folks from the local government in Saint Tuba, right? So there you see the social impact. And then you see, school supplies and doing that stuff. I didn't do it for a video. I did it because I wanted to support. I wanted to have a positive impact. And I wanted them to understand that the business practices of Batuke Ice were going to be clean and pure and respectful and considerate, and we were going to honor, our customer values. So what better way to do that than to be out in the community and positively contributing, and they see you doing that. People see you doing work. That's your receipt.
Yep.
That is your receipt. So, man, this is a great point right here about, the potential for a positive and social impact and sustainable business practice. They really go hand in hand. They really go hand in hand, especially on the ground in the Gambia. Because if they think that you just taking money from them and you just want them, hey, look, I need you to come here to my shop. You need to be here at a certain time, woo, woo. And if you don't, da 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 da, woo, woo. Listen. That's, first of all, that's toxic. Okay. And the other thing is you got to understand the culture that you're coming to. Understand the culture that you're coming to. And Zadi talks about this all the time. Be considerate of others and the people of Gambia. And when I say the people of Gambia, that's not just Gambians. That's Nigerians. That's Ghanaians. That's Jamaicans. That's Americans.
Everyone.
You see what I'm saying? So, and that just makes this thing a wonderful jambalaya of culture.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely agree. Guys, one of the biggest takeaways that we want y'all to take away from this topic specifically is that doing business in Gambia versus abroad is doing business for your people and with your people. So that's definitely what we want y'all to take away from that one. And another big point is, and most everybody know this, but doing business in Gambia versus abroad, you have the opportunity to help with growing tourism and opportunities for businesses that are, similar to that. And we know that with bringing tourism kind of also pairs with with development. We're helping to grow the development in Gambia because you will help raise their GDP. You will help to, like I was saying earlier, kind of put Gambia on the map and allow other people to experience the things that Gambia has to offer, the people, the food, the environment, and also allow people access to not only come and see the beauties of Gambia, but one of the biggest things that we try to push as far as the diaspora is to allow people to come see what it is and decide to move, live, invest in Gambia. So definitely, yeah. What you got to say?
I was just saying, I think besides the spiritual impact of the growing tourist industry, because that's going to change a lot as far as how people view the Gambia, view Africa, but the business impact on the tourist aspect of it. Because if you're going there to start a business, you got to think about how it's growing right now, how the tourist sector, and that's the biggest sector, one of the biggest sectors in the Gambia already. And so it's still growing. So if you're going there to start a business, you're just looking at growth in specific areas like the Seracunda area, Kaloli area. There's a lot of different areas, you know, the Banjul area, where you put businesses in those areas, and within the next 5 to 10 years, it's $1 million real estate, you know, just to land in that area. So, and there's a lot of beachfront area, you know, in the Gambia too. So there's a lot of area that's still available for resorts and hotels and a lot of infrastructure to be built. Now, the roads that they're developing, the power systems that they're integrating in there, that's all going to be beneficial for tourists as well, because less blackouts, more tourists. So at the end of the day, that's something to look forward to in the road development as well. Tourists being able to not just be by the beach areas, but to be able to go deeper into the Gambia. And that's going to broaden the tourist impact, and they're going to see more of the real African experience and be able to spread that wealth better through Gambia. And so that's it. The growing tourist aspect it can't be overlooked. It's one of the biggest aspects of it, and that it also inspires people to come back and invest, which is one of the biggest aspects of tourism. People that come and they see, wow, this was a great trip, I want to invest here. And so that leads to a whole different atmosphere. And you know, that's why any sector that involves tourism, whether it's water sports and games for tourists, whether it's the hotel industry, whether it's the restaurant industry in that area, there's a lot of different industry that circulate around tourists, tourism in general, even medical facilities that tourists are used to coming from where they're coming from. So it's an open playing field for that.
Right. And just to really touch real quick, because y'all points were so great. I'm just gonna touch on the money. I'm just gonna touch on the money and why tourism is important to the Gambia. Then I'm just gonna leave that right there, because I love my team, my family.
Oh,
but anyway, check this out. People say, "Oh man, you know tourism." I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna show you how important tourism is to the Gambia. So in '95, right? So in 1995, tourism revenues amounted to 28 million US. 28 million US. Then there was a 3.6% growth of national product within 26 years. That brings us all the way, you know, with the country's independence on tourism. Now it's really increased drastically. Now, before the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, okay, sales were 157 million.
Woo!
Did you hear what I said?
Wow.
So so you're talking about an 8.7% of gross national product. That is that is their economy.
Yeah.
And in 2020, tourist receipts plummeted due to COVID-19 pandemic. So of the original or the last number I gave you of 157 million in 2019, it fell to 53 million remaining. So they lost 66% of their tourism money or gross national product. Did you hear me? That's like if somebody took 66% of the economy and money-making services and products out of the American economy overnight. How you think that'll look? Well, who you think gonna feel that? Everybody.
Listen.
Everybody. Nobody will be exempt. And so this is just how important tourism is. So now we have some bright news. Okay, we got some bright news. So now, at the end of 2021, going into 2022, so in 2020, the number of tourists was at 246,000. Right? They trying to recover, you know, COVID. We're trying to, you know, trying to figure that out. Then now it's gone from 246 to 332,000. So it's on the rise. So it's on the rise now. So we had a rise of 3.3% gross national product, which means, okay, just like we've been saying earlier and a couple of other topics, Gambia's economy is starting to grow. Gambia's infrastructure is on the way, the roads, all of that stuff is happening. And this is what's going on. I mean, tourism is everything in Gambia.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
definitely
that's
is.
true, and that leads us to one of the things that as a tourist, you really think about once you get there, because you get there, you see the weather is nice and everything's
Right,
good, and that makes you think about the opportunities in real estate, right, and the
right,
construction industries and things of that nature. Coming from abroad to the Gambia, you realize you're like, man, the weather, like Will said earlier, 75, 85 degrees year round.
right,
So it's Florida weather almost. The breeze is
right,
hitting you. You can go to
right,
the beaches. They got the river going straight through the Gambia, so there's a lot of real estate where you can be right off the river. Like I said a little while ago, water sports and different events you can do off the beach, and it's really scenic. It's really nice, and
it's
so
endless.
it's not a lot of hills and mountains. It's not mountains at all. It's not a lot of hills and stuff like that. So the terrain is not hard to really navigate and negotiate the terrain. So when you think of real estate in the Gambia, the only thing you want to watch out for is make sure you don't get land that was maybe it floods at different parts of the year, because they have rainy season that runs from 2 to 3 months of the year. But besides that, the ground is a lot of stable ground, a lot of good areas, beach side areas, and like I said, within the next 5 to 10 years, a, a lot of these places like Banjul, Serekunda, Kaloli, you going into Turntable, they're going to be multi-million dollar, real estate development areas where you just to get a plot of land is going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Where we purchase land in Padang, the value has already gone up 2 times since we purchased the land. So real estate is going up. The value is going up in Gambia because only recently have the real estate market in Gambia really has boomed and has taken off the way it is. So those who want to enter that market right now, it's a fledgling, it's small and it's growing. So this is the time to do it. Like I'm saying, within the next 5 to 10 years, you won't have that opportunity. So it's a great opportunity right now. What do you think,
Right.
Will?
Oh, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Right now, I want to say they did this. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at right now. This is from the International Trade Administration, and this is where I'm getting the information from. And this was published August 30th of 2022.
Okay.
And this talks about the government and private investors drive construction projects in the Gambia, and the government funds essential infrastructure projects such as roads, bridges, ports through its own finance and through international partnerships, which is what we talked about. How you get an economy to grow, you got to have shareholders and foreign investors or external to your country that what helps drive the train, turns the wheels, blah blah blah. And it talks about the construction that's flourished, and we saw a lot of construction back in
A lot.
February. That was, I mean, no matter what street we went down or what road you went down, somebody was doing something on the road. Somebody was putting up new telephone poles or new power poles in the area with the expectation of road upgrades and all of this stuff, and we witnessed that.
Right.
So um, so yeah, I mean, Gambia, uh, Gambia is listening to us,
Oh yeah.
right? Here's why I say that: a lot of this construction is in support of that. They want us to come back.
Mm-hmm.
They
Oh yeah.
want us there,
They ready.
right? And they know. Listen, what draws most of us to any city anyway? It's always the infrastructure. What they got, right? First thing we say, even in America, before we want to go to another state, and we here in the West, before you want to go to another state or anything, you say, what they got there?
Yeah.
What's the attraction? What do they have? What type of food do they have? What type of entertainment do they have? All of these things, right? But with real estate and construction just really starting to boom in the Gambia, I mean, the opportunities are endless. They really
Endless.
are endless. I mean, we could have an extensive conversation, but why? Because this thing is ongoing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, hey, it's just beginning. That's what's crazy. It's
Right.
just beginning. So the opportunities are endless in regards to real estate and construction industries in the Gambia.
Oh yes. Now, family, go ahead, take it away.
Okay.
Don't do that now. You know,
Yeah, I'm
go.
trying to see what's going on. But oh my gosh. Okay, look. So yes, I completely agree with everything you just said, Will. I feel like the opportunities in Gambia are endless. So, family, just take that away from that topic. You have the ability and the freedom in Gambia to create whatever you could possibly imagine. And there is not too many places abroad that you can do that, whether it's because of finances or it's because of the color of your skin. So we want to kind of end this topic on that note. We very highly advise you to come and to do business and to invest and to
Please,
live
please, please.
in the Gambia, help with the GDP, help with creating businesses,
Woo.
and come to a place where you are doing those things, helping yourself, but you also turning around and helping your fellow brother, helping your
Sustainably.
fellow sister,
Sustainably.
and right, helping the development potentially of an entire country. So we always want to point out that we want you guys to remember to do your own research whenever it comes to any of these topics, any of these business ventures that we're talking about. We are only here to lead you to the water, not to make you drink. So please, please,
Woo.
please, please, please make sure that you make sure that you do your own research, family, because we want y'all to thrive, we want y'all to succeed, and we want y'all to actually make the things and the ideas that you have in your mind a reality.
Absolutely.
So make sure you like, comment, and
And subscribe.
subscribe. We have our lovely, lovely family here, GCO Network.
Woo.
We got CEO Will over here on GCO Network, and then we have Adam and myself as the co-founders. And we just want to say once again, thank you, thank you, thank you for 50 subscribers. I know it might seem like a small number to some people, but we just started this channel and we're
Less than six
already
months.
right, and we're already at 50 subscribers. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. Will, do you have anything you want to say to the family?
Hey, listen, guys, continue to do your research, just like Mzadi and Adam just so eloquently put it to you. Do your research, make Gambia a real consideration. Um, get on the ground, do your walk, do your talk. And we got so much stuff coming. I just can't even say it all right now. We got so much
Oh
stuff
man.
coming. And as you guys may not be aware of, our co-founders here at GCO Network, Adam and Anxiety, they will definitely be on the ground permanently here very shortly. Time to be determined, information soon to be disclosed,
Right.
right? But we are doing some amazing things here that we're so excited about, and it would behoove you to stay tuned, like, share, subscribe, comment, and keep in touch with us. And we
Oh yeah.
appreciate your time and efforts.